Brewery travelers, welcome back. Barbara and I are enjoying a hot summer day in coastal Georgia, and we're going to spend the afternoon in the pool. But we wanted to continue on with our New England series, isn't that right, Barb?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Maine today.
Well, we are. We started our first one. By the way, I'm going to interrupt myself and let you know that I have begun to form playlists. So if you want to go see all the shows we've done in Jacksonville, Florida, or Atlanta, or Houston, or New England,
Or Atlanta.
tomorrow, this one will go into the playlist for New England. But the first one we started at the destination of our trip, which was in Vermont. And we covered both Rutland Brewing and Long Trail. Today, we're going to go back to the beginning of our trip. We flew into Portland. We drove immediately to Freeport, Maine, which is just north of Portland. And I got to tell you,
The home of LL Bean.
the home of LL Bean. I got to tell you, we did a lot of shopping, and you know, there's all kind of stores. LL Bean is not a store; it's a campus. And when we visited every department, we were ready for a beer. There are 3 breweries in Freeport. Now, to put that in context, Freeport has 1,800 people, a population of 1,800 supporting 3 breweries, and that's just not common.
Right, and that is just the full-time population. It swells every day at the LL Bean campus, so I think that's part of the support of these breweries.
Between LL Bean and tourists coming to enjoy the magnificent scenery of coastal Maine, there's enough people to support 3 breweries, and we went to all 3. And we started our trip with the closest one to LL Bean, called Stars and Stripes. And I got to tell you, of all the breweries we went to 10 in 3 states. This one would be the one I would go back to every day. It was so much fun. The environment. This is a help me out here, Barb. This is a friendly local brewery.
It's a neighborhood brewery, definitely, and they were having trivia night the night that we were there, and a lot of people knew each other that came in. There were tables of groups sitting together and things like that. It was obviously an event for Thursday nights in Freeport for this group.
Stars and Stripes was started by a couple. He is a Marine, formerly active duty, now currently retired Marine. His wife is a public relations person, and I got to tell you, the name of all the beers, this is an absolute change of command. Was their major IPA, and it was great.
Yes, and I had Private Pilsner, which was their Pilsner.
Was wonderful Pilsner. Thunder Bay Stout was the most surprising beer here, I got to tell you. It was fabulous, but I am not a big bourbon barrel-aged beer fan, and this one was a bourbon barrel-aged beer. But Mason, who may be the greatest bartender I've ever run across, Mason, I hope you see this and you take the thumbs up, man. He told me, see, this is not like other breweries do it. This is a very subtle. You're not going to get overwhelmed. And I said, I'm going to give it a try, and I did. Mason was right, Barb.
Oh yeah, I told you that because you had me take the first sip.
So, I was not a Marine.
I said, nope, it is not bourbon flavored at all.
It was a fabulous beer. We had so much fun here. Free popcorn, helps you drink more beer. And this was a place, again, it's right across the parking lot from a pizza place. So people go get pizza, walk it over, drink beer with friends, play trivia, eat popcorn. This was just a fun place.
Yeah, really, really cool place.
So if you're ever going to LL Bean, this is the closest brewery, so it's got that going. And I got to tell you, I would say...
At most, 2 miles away from the LL Bean campus, at most.
So I would say from us, highly recommended.
Yeah.
Then from there we went to Mast Landing. and what a difference.
Yeah, it was probably a polar opposite from an environment standpoint. It was very large, had a lot of space outside for a lot of activities that were going on. There was a cornhole tournament the night we were there. There was also some type of corporate event that people were signing up for raffles of, and there was a food truck there. And keep in mind, we were in coastal Maine, and one of the most famous things there is blueberries. And they were selling fruit cups out of the food truck loaded with blueberries.
And they were good. I'm going to tell you now. If you see it, you go. You see it, get one.
And I enjoyed a particular beer there, probably one of the most of the whole trip. And it was a Session IPA that, to me, was the best I've ever had anywhere.
Little victories. 4.8% Session was, Barbara loved it. She gave me a sip, not much of one, but a little one. And it was good.
It was very hazy for a Session.
Yes.
Very hazy, had a lot of flavor, a lot of juiciness to it, and it was just an incredibly good beer at a 4.8, did you say? 4.8?
It was 4.8% beer. And I got to tell you, when we walked in, this place is large. It's got a 2-story inside room. There's no upstairs, but the building is, it looks like
high
2
ceiling.
stories,
Yeah.
very, very high ceiling. It overlooks a terraced outdoors, and on the backside, this thing is positioned in the corner of a splitting of the highways. US 1 goes off on the east side, and then what was it? A state highway 12 or something like that goes to the west side, and it's sitting right here. And the overlook is a beautiful green space, terraced down in a beautiful green space between these 2 highways.
Well landscaped, lots and lots of flowers, just very scenic.
When we walked in, I was struck by the size, and we walked straight up to the bar, and it was somewhat impersonal. And I got to tell you, my first thought was, this is very institutional. These people are just taking orders. They're getting on reflection. Once we walked around a little bit, Barbara, I tell you, on reflection, I'm not sure that's the vibe. It was just that crowded.
It was, yeah.
Just working.
There was a lot of activities going on at the same time.
Gosh, they had, the cornhole tournament, the corporate outing. There was a lot of people inside, outside, ordering beer. So,
it was just busy. It was definitely busy. But they made very good beer. Very good beer, I thought.
It was real good. The location's great. The beer's great. This was a fun stop.
They also had food, and it was set up very interesting, kind of unique. It was a restaurant, an absolute separate doorway, everything. You could go to the restaurant and have no beer if you wanted to, but there was a pass-through in the wall where if you wanted to order food from there and eat it in the brewery, you could go up and pick up your food in the pass-through.
It was like a drive-through window right there on the way in toward the bar, with a menu above it. And
had we had more time in Freeport, I would have loved to have gone back and tried the food there, because they had an extensive menu because it was a real restaurant. But it was just set up really cool how you could just go and place your order and then pick it up when it was ready and eat in the brewery.
We enjoyed the beer there quite a bit. I had a flight, so I got to taste a lot of different beers. I got to have taste Barbara's. The beer was good. The environment took a minute for me to, it was so different than Stars and Stripes. It took me a minute to adjust. But once I did, this is a fun place.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I liked it a lot.
Now, after all day flying, shopping, beer drinking, we called it a night, and we got up the next day to head to Vermont. But we made one more stop in Freeport, Maine Beer Company.
After, of course, the additional stop at LL Bean.
Oh, yeah, we did that too.
Yes.
But we go back to LL Bean. I'm sorry, of course we did that. But we go back, we went to Maine Beer Company on the way out. I got to tell you, it is just striking. This is another big brewery. Remember, the town's 1,800 people. This is another big brewery. But immediately on the outside, you're struck by how eco-friendly these people are. There is an entire garden with solar panels as well as the roof. This
Yes.
was,
Yes, it was.
they're bringing it in.
And all of Maine, in our experience, it was very, very environmentally conscious. But the Maine Beer Company did make it basically a value of their company
They did.
to have all types of environmental impact. I guess. Ideas and things built in.
And things that they put into action.
Right.
We walked in, immediately on the right there is a wonderful, and I hope we have pictures, and I trust you that we do, we have a beautiful merchandise area.
Yes.
And then you walk on to the back of another very large room, 2 stories with a what would you call that, around a staircase around the top, going to rooms on the side. In any event, it was another big place. The bar is at the very back. You walk up, and they had a guy, and we were there early, guys. It wasn't open very long, and there weren't that many people there. But they had a guy whose job was to walk around and just be friendly.
Yeah, he was like a greeter.
Kind of like a greeter, except he'd sit there and visit with you for a few minutes, and then he'd go off, and you'd see him doing that with somebody else. He was a really good guy.
But he would answer any questions you had about the beer. He would give you tips if you told him what styles you liked. He would give you tips. They also served food. We tried their wood-fired pizza.
And
So
we
we were there at lunchtime.
Yes, we thought it was good. I got to tell you, something here is one of their beers, Lunch. Their beer called Lunch, 7% IPA, hazy, was an award-winning beer at the Great American Beer Festival this past year. And I got to tell you, I lined up. I wanted to give it a go. It was good. Good. Then they try to sell you on dinner.
That's their double IPA.
That's their double. It's more than 7. I tasted it. It was real good. But at 11:30, I wasn't ready for an 8.5% beer, so I just took the taste.
I had an oyster stout that was delicious.
Oh, gosh.
I love oysters, so that didn't frighten me at all, but it really didn't have much oyster flavor to it at all. It was just a very good, very thick and malty stout.
And at 4.3, it's pretty safe beer.
Yeah, because I knew I had to get us to Vermont.
Well, you did. I was contemplating dinner, but it doesn't matter. We enjoyed the beer. I had another flight. I tasted a lot of them. Everything from whale's head to wolf's neck to, anyway, a whole bunch of really, really fine beer. They make good beer there.
And all of their a portion of their proceeds all goes to the organization that's involved in environmental causes all over the country, a nationwide environmental organization.
Right. This is an environmentally conscious brewery. You can see it, and they're very serious about it. I mean, they have the solar panels. When you go inside, along the walls, they have some just gorgeous photography.
Right.
Of wildlife.
And mostly endangered species types of wildlife, yes.
It was a neat place. I wish we had gone when there had been more people. We'd have got a better sense of the atmosphere. Because
right.
When we went, we were disadvantaged.
Right. We were fitting everything into our trip. We were only there for 4 days, and we had to fit everything in.
Now, one of the things that we have overlooked, because we enjoyed these 3 breweries, we enjoyed each of them so much. One of the things we've overlooked, because I got too enthusiastic talking about them, are things like parking, plenty of
every single one, yeah.
Plenty. Dogs at Stars and Stripes, inside, outside, it don't matter. At Mass Landing, there is...
I did not see any dogs.
There can't be any dogs because the terrace on the back is where you have to get through the brewery to get to the terrace, and there is no outdoor seating on the front.
No.
Maine Beer Company, there is outdoor seating on the side, and you can be out there with pets. Inside, they're cooking, they're serving,
Yeah.
you can't. So if you have a pet, maybe mess landing, wait for nap time. Other than that, Maine Beer Company and Stars and Stripes, you're good to go.
Definitely.
Would you agree?
Yes, definitely.
This is a great start to our trip.
Right. I mean, we recommend Freeport anyway. It's just a great place to go.
We do, and if you go to Stars and Stripes, if you shop at LL Bean, hit the closest brewery, Stars and Stripes. And if Mason's there, give him a pat on the back. All right, just do that, because he'll answer every question, and he's great. We still need to cover Portland, and we're going to do that next week.
Okay.
You ready?
Sounds good.
All right. See you in Portland.
Cheers.
Cheers.